Hi everyone, I'm Evangeline here at eTrailer. Today we have the Lockrack Universal X Kayak Carrier. We're going to take a look at how it fits right here on our 2024 Subaru Outback. And I have some different specs and measurements that we're going to talk about so that way you can get the best out of this kayak carrier. This is going to be a super easy to use carrier that I tend to use for my trips, so let's see if it's a good fit for yours. I love to go on quick, spontaneous kayaking trips, but whenever I do, I try to bring a kayaking buddy with me. So getting 2 LockRacks on top of my vehicle is very important. And for your Subaru Outback, chances are very high that you can carry 2 LockRacks as well. So let's take some measurements real quick. You can see how these arms fit around the kayak. They do take up a fair amount of space compared to other carriers, and they can go as small and together as 27 inches and ½ inch, as far apart as 47 inches and ¼ inch. That's your minimum maximum exterior dimensions. But there is a potential for overlap of those arms. When I carry it, sometimes my furthest arm is as far as this point here on the first carrier. So as you can see, there is potential space for up to 2 LockRack carriers depending on the size of your kayak. Now, how the LockRack fits on your car does depend on what type of crossbars you have on the Subaru though. So if you do have like the factory roof rack on your Outback, well, that's going to be fitting inside these rails, which means you'll probably only be able to carry one of these carriers. Another thing to that style of a roof rack is I currently have the channel mounted lock rack, which means this fits into the top channels of our roof rack. There's no clamps that go around. If you have the factory roof rack, that one doesn't really have any channels, so you'd have to get the universal clamps instead. So I recommend getting an aftermarket roof rack like this. That way you can maximize your weight capacity, maximize the space on top of your roof, and then you can get more because you'll have more clearance. I currently have the Inno roof rack, but there's a bunch of different fits for the Subaru Outback. You can check them out here on our website. I like to grab this carrier because with this, I don't have to use straps around the center of the kayak. So what makes this a lock rack is going to be this arm over here as well as this key. Your key fits into the lock where you turn it to disengage, and then you can pull the arm out completely. Now notice how there's different holes in that arm. That's going to be your different notches where it secures your kayak. So once you get your kayak on there, you fit your arm in and it starts locking into place. Keep going until you have a really good fit around your kayak. Notice how the Universal X has this angle, and that's to make a better and more secure fit around your boat. And even if for some reason you might want to push up, meaning the kayak, then that angle will help prevent your kayak from escaping. Once you have all 4 arms in place where they all make contact, you then have a very secure fit there on your roof. Sounds super easy, right? Well, LockRack also says that you don't need bow and stern straps if you're not going too far and you're not hitting highway speeds. But I always like to put bow and stern straps on there. They work like the safety chains of kayak carrying. If that's the case, something that'll make it super easy is the eTrailer Kayak Strap Kit. This comes with a dog bone anchor that you can just throw into your hood as well as into your hatch or your hitch, and then the other side secures to the front and the back of the boat. Something worth looking into if you want extra security or if you're going for a really long road trip or going on the highway pretty fast. We're going to take a closer look at our kayak here, but we're going to have to take our kayak off first. If you get those keys and you turn it, you can then remove the arm. And what I like to do is I actually like to move the arm into the portable or compact or storage position. So that locks into place just like that. I'm just going to grab one end. We have Matt here who's going to help me out as he grabs the other end. And I just need to make sure I'm supporting my side of the kayak. You got yours, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got mine. And up and off. This is what your carrier will look like when the kayak is off and the arms are in the portable position. So the height here is going to be 2.5 inches tall, and this is going to be helpful when you're not planning on kayaking anytime soon and you don't want to be sticking out on the road with the arms sticking up. Now with it in this position, this will be a little bit more aerodynamic as well, as long as you make sure that the rubber pieces are seated firmly in the carrier. That will help prevent or at least decrease whistling down the road. I don't know if you've noticed, but I really do enjoy the Lockrack carrier. This is usually the time of the video when I would compare this carrier with something else that might have different features, but in our case here, the Lockrack is very unique in how it approaches carrying around kayaks or paddleboards. On that note, this can carry up to 2 paddleboards or a single kayak. If you have just one paddleboard, that's going to be a different style of arm that you're going to need. If you're carrying around things like a surf ski or a surfboard, that's a different type of Lockrack carrier as well. So if you're confused about those, check out our different LockRack series carriers here at etrailer.com. But for something that's super easy to use, where you don't need to use straps in order to secure your kayak or your paddleboards, this right here was a look at the Lockrack Universal X. This is available as either a channel mount or a universal mount carrier at eTrailer. What you saw today was this on the 2024 Subaru Outback.